Hello, this is Carolyn, and I am back in the crapper again. This is going to be take two. I really should learn how to do some editing or something. I really think that the last one is probably going to be better than this one, but I had a mama cat come in here last month, and she had babies, and the babies knocked down all of the cosmetic stuff here, and they were chewing on it. So I thought I'd probably better get up and give them some cat food. Yeah, I gotta find a no-kill shelter. I cannot keep them unless somebody wants to adopt them. I don't know if you saw the short videos I've been doing where I've been asking people if they're good, sweet people, they want to adopt a kitten, or if they do not, if maybe they've got a freezer full of old food that they're not using that they could donate. You know, I don't like the people that hound you all the time for stuff and try to sell stuff. But this would really help me. I mean, if somebody's extremely generous, they getting these cats spayed and neutered, I can't even catch most of them. According to the city, they will do it for a greatly reduced price if you bring the cat in a certain trap. The trap is like $200 or $300. If you bring the cat in and it needs to be one that isn't adoptable, that is a feral, in other words. That's the way I interpret it. You know, in other words, a completely wild one. You go buy a trap, you set it out there, you take your day off and you go in there, and you might as well just pay full price. Of course, with the reduced price anyway, you never know if they're going to use the right anesthesia, the painkiller. That's what I'm trying to think of. Okay. It is early, and I want to let you guys know I'm using iMemories this time. I sent in 6, actually, movies to be developed. One of them is a camera that I actually found out walking at the park. I don't know what's in it. Those will, of course, be pictures. So I don't know. I have zero idea actually what's in any of them, and I kind of am doing that deliberately. But I think people, I can't believe we're saying that life was better back then. Maybe in some ways it was, but you know, now if you want to know something, you got your computer, you got your phone. Back in the day, we had encyclopedias that usually our mom got us when we were kids, and from a door-to-door salesman, because there was a lot of those back then. And you had to, you know, the alphabetized, you had to look them up. But of course, you know, they're book like that, and there's gum stuck in them and scribbling on the pages, and they weren't current, because if you didn't get your encyclopedias updated every couple of years. So no, things are better now in so many ways. And I had kind of a funny story, and I'm not so sure why I remembered this, but in contrasting with people telling you life was the good old days, a friend of mine and I were back in the day, and I think we were in middle school, maybe 12, 13, 14 years old, because we would be dropped off up the street and then walk to our houses. I live with my mom and dad. I was lucky enough to have a mom and dad at home, and she lived with her grandma. But we got off the bus and we started walking, and a guy comes by in some old beater car, and he hasn't got any pants on, and he's sticking his thing up in the window and hollering at us, and you know, saying all kinds of lewd, crude stuff. And of course we're dumbfounded at first. We're kids though, but this is how shock-proof we were. And we're talking young age, like we laughed hysterically. He didn't get scared. I guess he wanted to scare us when we wanted to run. But, you know, I don't know, even back then, Nancy and I weren't all that, except we didn't grow up quite that gentle. We just laughed at him, and then we gathered up a bunch of rocks, because we saw him go around the block, so we knew he was going to come back. He shocked us once, you know, shame on us. And when he went by again, man, we plummeted that car with rocks. She broke his windshield. So we get back home. I don't know if she told her grandma, but I told my mom. I said, you wouldn't believe what just happened to me. And I, you know, in my delicate little way, in words that I could use, I explained. And she was both very, very scared and very angry. And You know, some hours go by and my mom says, you call your friend Nancy, we need to talk, or call her grandma, we need to get together and talk about this. And you know what I honestly thought? I thought we were in trouble. I thought Nancy and I were in trouble and this guy stopped and now we got to pay for his windshield. Because for real, that's how many perverts there were back then, and what a slap on the hand they would get. They would have said to him, dude, grow up. You're sick. They probably would have did that to him. Or maybe if they were out in the country, Grandpa would have a shh, boom, boom. That could happen. That could really happen, which would have been a little worse than calling the police. But we didn't have any cell phones, you know, so we couldn't record this guy doing it. More than likely, he would have gotten away completely had we even called the law, so nobody bothered to. But I can't believe, honestly, and I'm telling you the truth, I didn't think that he was the one that was wrong. I thought she and I were going to get in big trouble for destroying his property. For real, it wasn't that good of a day. Yeah, you could ride in the back of a pickup truck and flirt with people and be silly, and that was wonderful. And you know, and we probably held those firecrackers a little bit longer than you should. Yeah, there was some things that there was a lot more freedom and a lot more going out to play. So we're physically fit, more physically fit. But it wasn't all the good old days. But anyway, the reason that pertains is when I get all that footage back, I think you guys will see like some weddings from the 70s, 60s. It'll be very rough takes, and people looked older back then, I think. And it of course be very raw, no editing, nothing. If somebody makes a mistake and stumbles over their words, it won't be like, cut, you know, we'll edit that out later. It'll be interesting, but I think you will find that the good old days weren't all that. But anyway, you have a blessed day.